if we look at slide 2, one of the, I think, mistakes that many journalists and others make is to assume that populist nationalists who are rising in support throughout Europe, and of course one was just elected in the United States, are all somehow pro-Russian. And I think this is very simplistic, and it doesn't really reflect the reality on the ground. There are, of course, pro-Russian populist nationalists like Hungary, Orban, and Prime Minister Fico in Slovakia. But I wouldn't say that these are reflective of Europe in general, and even of the United States. I mean, for example, the idea that somehow Trump was a kind of a Russian agent or something similar is way exaggerated. Yes, you could potentially label him as a useful idiot at times, because he's a narcissist, and so Russians could play that up. But the idea that somehow he's some Russian card-carrying agent is, I think, going way off tangent. And there are many examples to show this. Trump's presidency was far more tougher on Russia than Obama's, his predecessor. Obama vetoed weapons supplies to Ukraine. Trump did not veto them. So ironically, the first American weapons to come to Ukraine were under Trump. Also, Trump imposed sanctions on the German-Russian Nord Stream pipeline. This was something which was, of course, good for Ukraine, because the whole point of Nord Stream was to bypass gas deliveries through Ukraine into Europe. When Biden came to power in 2020, he removed those sanctions on Nord Stream. So both Obama and Biden, at least Biden up until the full-scale invasion in February 22, were quite soft on Russia in many ways compared to Trump. Also, it's not so simple when you look at American presidents going back to 1991. You've had both Republican and Democrats who have been pro-Ukrainian, or not really pro-Ukrainian, but pro-Russian. So it's been a real mix. President Bill Clinton was very different to President Obama towards Ukraine. Clinton being pro-Ukrainian, Obama just being indifferent to both Ukraine and to Syria and Georgia as well. Whereas I would say probably the most pro-Ukrainian US president would have been President George Bush in 2008. But it's clearly not black and white.